What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this 2021 Ford Mustang GT Premium. Huge shout out and thank you to Randy Marion Ford for providing this Mustang GT for today's video. Check them out, I have their website linked in the description below. They have a huge section of the newest Ford lineup, so definitely check them out. And the model that we're looking at today is finished off in rapid red metallic tint coat, has the Equipment Group 401A package, as well as the active valve performance exhaust, and an MSRP at $52,200. Underneath the hood, the GT Mustang utilizes a 5-liter naturally aspirated 8-cylinder engine. This engine pumps out 460 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to a 6-speed manual transmission on this particular car, and can achieve 0 to 60 in around 4.2 seconds with a quarter-mile time at 12.2. Top speed is around 155 miles per hour, and then with a curb weight at 3,700 pounds and running on a 16-gallon fuel tank, you can expect 15 miles per gallon in the city and 24 out on the highway. The overall length is 188.5 inches with wheelbase at 107.1, height is 54.3, and width is 75.4 inches. And this Mustang GT is also equipped with the Brembo brakes. We get 6-piston calipers up front and ventilated rotors in all 4 corners. If we take a look at the exterior design with the 2021 Mustang GT, this has a lot of sharp lines all in this front bumper, very aggressive looking. You can see the pony logo right in the center, finished off in chrome, and we have gloss black trim all around the upper grille. There's this huge satin black front splitter that protrudes forward to really help with the aggression, and there's more satin black in the lower grille with a nice opening to allow maximum cooling to the radiators. You can see the LED headlights that have the 3 bars on the inside that even mimic what you'll see on the taillights. Then you can see the lower fog lights in the bumper. There's a lot of sharp lines that connect everything, and triangular shaped trim pieces in the lower portion. The front bumper flows to the hood seamlessly with 2 heat extraction vents with sharp lines all around that, and you can really just see how wide the front end of a Mustang is. And then moving to the side profile, we get a set of 19-inch wheels in all 4 corners, finished off in a gloss black, and they're a multi-spoke design. They really look great against this red paintwork. You can also see the Pirelli P0 tire wrapping that, and the Brembo brakes up front contrast very well. Along the side profile, you get the 5.0 badge on this front fender, and then a really sharp line above that cutting right through these side doors. There's a set of body colored door handles and body colored mirror caps with an LED turn signal all integrated, and there's all black trim around these windows. There's a lower side skirt to match the front splitter, and another sharp line in the lower portion of these doors. I really like the lines flowing from the headlights that cut through the side profile. They fade away and then reappear for the fenders in back. You can really see how wide the rear fenders are with those sharp lines, and it really gives it that nice fastback design. The roofline even slopes backwards towards this trunk, and the roof itself has some sharp lines that match the hood. And then moving to the back, you can see how those rear fender lines even fade their way towards the top portion of the trunk. It gives it a nice integrated spoiler design for the trunk lip. There's gloss black all through the center with your GT logo right in the center, and a standard backup camera above that. The Mustang gets the classic 3-bar LED taillights that have a 3-dimensional look, and I really love the sequential turn signal. It really goes well with the design. They have a C shape to them and look fantastic in back. Lower portion of the bumper has more sharp lines and 4 parking sensors integrated. There's a massive rear diffuser finished in the same black that you saw on the front splitter and side skirts, and then there's sharp fins right in the center, your reverse light, and then a dual quad-tipped exhaust. So there's a good look at the exterior and some of the specifications for the 2021 Mustang GT Premium. Beautiful color, and I love the wheels that are optioned on this car. We have Ford's key fob, we get the pony logo on the backside, then all the aluminum buttons. I can go ahead and lock the car, and then just grab the door handle. It's gonna automatically unlock, and we can check out the interior. GT Premium models get a black leather interior. You're going to see a lot of white stitching and silver accents all throughout. If we go ahead and take a look at the door panel now, it's finished off all in black. We get some smooth black leather along the armrest with a little bit of padding, some perforated leather and contrast stitching, then your aluminum release handle, as well as lock and unlock and memory seating. Down below that, we have your 2 window switches and mirror controls, the grab handle, a little bit of storage, and then part of the speaker system. And then moving our way inside, we get Mustang written out on the door sill, finished off in aluminum. And then you can see some of the power controls for the seat on this left side. We have the forwards, back, up and down, and then we get your recline over on the back and then lumbar support. The bolsters are actually pretty big for not even being the Recaro seats. We get perforated leather all in the center with a really nice pattern. You can see more of the stitching, and then the bolsters are pretty large. As I said, the backs look really good. We have more perforated leather in the centers, and then moving our way up to more stitching along the headrest. Definitely a good looking seat. Spinning around to the steering wheel, finished off in black leather, we get black stitching and silver accents. And then now inside, keeping my foot on the clutch and the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. Starting out, let's take a look at this digital display for the gauge cluster. This is one big screen, it's about 12 inches. As of right now with this normal drive mode, we have the speedometer over on the right with your gear indicator as well as a tach on the left. We have a few engine vitals in the lower portion as well. We can control the screen using the buttons along the steering wheel. We have a pony logo right here as well as different icons up top. If I tap this icon right here, you can see it coming up with different modes. One thing very cool with this exhaust, I can go into different driving modes. As you heard, we have a quiet mode, a normal, and then the open valve, which sounds awesome. Very cool to see in a car like this. We have different things as well that you can scroll through. You can continue to scroll down for different track apps. We have a performance shift indicator that can come up. We have launch control, rev matching, the gauges you can change in different colors, so definitely a cool thing. And if we go ahead and take a look at these toggles down below, if we toggle this one right here, which is your actual drive mode, this will change the entire gauge cluster. If I go into the sport mode, you can see how the tach and everything changes. Then if I go up into the track mode, it'll change even more to be much more track focused with a huge tach. So I like how Ford has done that, giving you many different things you can see. Just gives this car a cool look. So we'll go back into the normal mode, and then taking a look at the steering wheel, now you can see the controls over on the left side for Bluetooth and audio. We also have all the cruise control settings, and then some of the controls over on the right. We have the windshield wiper stalk on the right, and then on the left, the turn signal stalk. To the left of the actual steering wheel, we have all of your headlight controls. Trunk release button is down here, as well as a piece that can come out and have a little bit more storage. We have a really cool brushed aluminum design for this dashboard. Then if we move our way across the dash, it has that classic look with the double bumps in here, and I really like all the materials you see on the dash. We have a vent in the top, and then we get an oil pressure gauge as well as a vacuum for the engine, 2 more air vents, that same design, Mustang logo over on the right side. Then if we take a look at the Sync 3 infotainment screen, it has a really nice user-friendly design. All your climate controls are set up right now, super easy to use. You can tap the navigation icon and it'll come up. Pretty simple the way everything works. You can also toggle into your audio, you have phone integration, different apps that come up as well, and then a settings icon for a few different things within the car. If I push the clutch in and go into reverse, your backup camera is going to automatically come up. You have pretty nice HD view with some guidelines. Then going back into neutral, below the actual screen, we do hit physical controls for all the climate, as well as all the radio above that. Looking at these climate controls, we have the fan speed right in the center, and it will even come up on the screen. We have heated and ventilated seats that are very easy to toggle, different defrost as well as the AC controls, and then below all that we have more of these aluminum toggles for your hazards as well as the traction control, and then the steering wheel mode as well. You can toggle this into a normal mode, we have a sport steering, and then a comfort steering. So I really like with all the different drive modes, you can really configure the Mustang to drive the way you would like. We get a little bit of storage up there with a USB and 12 volt, and then the manual shifter finished off in leather and aluminum has a really premium look, and it's a pretty short throw shifter. We have a manual parking brake behind that, as well as your 2 cup holders with some more trim. Moving to the center armrest, it's finished off in more of the black leather and contrast stitching. We can open up this little button, and we have a little bit of space in here with some 12 volts and a USB port. Then if we go ahead and take a look at the glove box, this pops open, and we have a pretty good amount of space in here, as you would expect. And then taking one last look at the Mustang, Ford's done a really good job keeping up with a good design for this vehicle. It has a retro look, and yet it still looks nice and modern. And we get a nice upscale interior with a premium feel. And then moving to the back seats of the Mustang, there is a handle on the back side of these front seats to get them out of the way. This is a 4-seat car. We do actually have some nice bucket seats back here. You can see the bolsters, they actually look really cool. Same black leather with the perforated leather in the center, and then all the color contrast stitching. So then sitting in the back seat of the Ford Mustang, I am 5'11". I have the driver's seat set at my height, and as you can see, my knees have to wrap around it a little bit. There is a cutout on the back side of the seat, so if this was pushed up about an inch or two forward, my knees could actually fit behind it. So it's not that bad. I am sitting here with my neck pretty crooked. To have it straight, I do have to hunch forward a little bit, but in a pinch, you can actually fit people in the back. So for being a 4-seater, you know, a 2-door sports car, it's actually pretty usable, at least for what this car is. And then I can easily grab this handle and then climb right out when I'm ready to get out. To take a look at the trunk space, you have a button on your key fob, the one on the interior, and there is even one on the rear bumper. You can just press this and it opens nicely. We have a pretty decent amount of space in here with a nice flat load floor. It's pretty tall as well, and you do have cutouts behind these rear wheels. And then you can independently fold down the rear seats for added cargo space. If we enter back through the car with the door open, you can see how the seats fold down nice and flat, and the opening to the trunk is pretty large, so you could fit some pretty large items in the back of a Mustang. Alright guys, so we are setting off now in the Mustang GT. So right now I'm just in the normal driving mode, and I have the exhaust in quiet mode as well, just to kind of feel out this car as a normal daily drivable car. Ford has done a really good job, I think, with making the Mustang that. It's a usable vehicle that you can drive pretty much from day to day and do kind of everything with. It's practical enough as far as how big the rear seats are and the trunk space to actually be a usable vehicle. So right now, just normal everything like I said. This is a pretty comfortable car. We have a pretty huge windshield and a lot of glass all around the car to make it have really good visibility. Same with looking through your mirrors and everything over your right and left shoulder. You have a pretty good view around the car to make it easy to daily drive. The steering is very light in this mode. Suspension's absorbing the bumps very well, and it's just a nice normal car to drive. There's nothing crazy about a Mustang. I like how they've done that. If we do play with some of the drive modes, because we have this really cool LCD gauge cluster, let's go ahead and go right into the fun one. We're in track mode now. The exhaust is going to be opened up to the track mode as well, and then the steering, we can toggle that up into the sports steering. Just a few little rev matches on the downshifts. I do have that on, so it's going to automatically rev match for me. But this is just a really cool sounding car already. Second gear, the meaty V8 from Ford. This Coyote motor is definitely probably one of the best sounding V8s, I think. I love the shifter too. I think Ford did a really good job. Well, this is not the Tremec transmission. Some people aren't the biggest fans of this one that you get in the GT compared to like the Shelbys or the Mach 1, but it's a really short throw shifter. Very notchy, so it's super easy to get into each gear, and the clutch really doesn't weigh much. Super easy to hit that and everything. But now that we're in the track mode, I love the gauge cluster that we get. We'll do the POV test drive in just a little bit. But it's a cool look to see that huge tachometer going across the entire digital display. Alright, so still in all the track modes. It's a very smooth power band. It's not the crazy fastest vehicle out there. Of course, if you want the most power out of a Mustang, you want the Shelby with a supercharger, or even just supercharge this, which there's a lot of aftermarket support for these. But it's a really fluid power band. It's not going to throw you back in your seat crazy much, but nonetheless, it's a very healthy motor, and it's going to do the job really well. All right, we have a little bit of an underpass thing. Bouncing off the wall like that sounds really good. I think the Mustang GT especially is a car you can have a lot of fun with, and this one particularly has just enough options to give you that extra, like the active exhaust. I think that's a huge plus, but this manual is definitely one to get. That exhaust, Mustangs sound the best. Man. So getting up on some turns now, still in all the track modes and everything. It's a pretty flat car. You can feel the weight a little bit. There's a little bit of body roll as I go back and forth, so it's not exactly a nimble sports car. I think a Camaro is going to be a much better vehicle if you're really going to be doing the turns, but this can kind of do it all. This is a good blend between a Camaro and a Challenger, I think. It's almost as big as a Challenger as far as interior space, but you still get much better handling. That makes this a lot more fun to drive in the turns. Not as good as a Camaro, but I think it's a good blend between the three cars. All right, back in the Mustang. Let's fire it up now. We have the GoPro on the back as well. And let's hit the logo, exhaust mode, make sure we're in track mode, and we'll toggle everything into the track mode as well. Sport steering. So cool car, I think you get a good blend of everything. We'll get up to some speed now. Nice and healthy, gets up to some speed pretty quickly. I love the shifter. And then just kind of driving normal again, we have some turns coming up. This is a good all-around sports car. I think it really does have that blend of muscle car and sports car and daily driver normal vehicle. And as far as the interior, like the use of materials and things you touch, it's a pretty good quality interior. I think it's a little bit nicer than a Camaro and the Challenger. The leather that you touch feels really nice. You do get a lot of plastics within the car, like this isn't really aluminum or anything, but it does feel nice and look pretty nice as well. So I think Ford did a good job at least keeping it. It's not a crazy luxurious, high-end car, but it still looks pretty nice all around. And I think the user interface, the way everything works, and the things that you touch also make it pretty nice. All right, so to finish it up, let's put the window down a little bit. Let's hear it underneath a little bit of a bridge. Hopefully we can hear this Coyote motor make a little bit of noise. Oh man, that is a really good sounding car. I can see why Mustang guys, they like to rip on these cars quite a bit. So I think that is about it, wrapping it up for the 2021 Mustang GT, the manual transmission, the premium trim level. Great option for sure. Huge shout out and thank you once again to Randy, Mary, and Ford for providing this Mustang GT for today's video. Check them out, I'll have their website down below. They have a huge selection of brand new Ford, so definitely check them out. If you guys enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content to come, and I will see you all in the next video.